Dot, and welcome to Pure Finds, the podcast where awesome guys talk about awesome albums. I'm Chris.
I'm Ian.
I'm Kyle.
And there's three of us today. Usually there could be four, but, we got the Obi-Wan, Yoda, and Luke Skywalker of the group. So I was like, we're the last remaining
Who's
Jedi.
who?
Oh, who's who? I'm Yoda, immediately.
How are you, Yoda?
You're Luke Skywalker.
Yeah, I was like, Luke Skywalker. Come on. Well, are we equating it to Jedi, or are we equating it to like knowledge of music at that point?
Well, we are talking
might
about
be Yoda.
music. We are kind of talking about music.
Okay. If we
Not
were talking
just
about,
kind of. I think this whole thing is music.
you're kind of
the
right.
Force.
I was wrong.
Okay, so well, if it's music before the Force, I'd say Ian's Yoda, Kyle is Obi-Wan, Chris is Luke Skywalker. I'm the one learning a lot of shit because I'm not very knowledgeable about the inner workings.
Very
of
humble
music.
thing.
Yeah.
If I was the commentator, the man giving the names out, I'd be like, "You're Luke Skywalker, faggot." You're Luke.
I am nice and humble, so
Yes,
I like
you
to,
are the humblest of the humble.
I was like, I made the shitty suggestion. So I take the shitty part. It's very simple and easy. Well, we have a great show. Ian is up first. Jedi or not, Jedi or scoundrel. Ian's up
I
first.
am up first. Yeah. It's been a while since I've been first, so it's a little weird. This is
Yeah, warm up into it,
Yeah.
baby. It's like,
It's been a while since we've done just individual albums in
yeah,
general.
true. That is true.
Yeah,
We've been
couple
doing a lot
podcasts,
of
that Woodstock episode was
Buddy
so
team.
fucking good.
buddy team or buddy system.
Yeah, the tag team.
Yeah.
Oh,
Buddy,
yeah.
Buddy,
Yeah.
buddy sodes? Buddy
Buddy-sodes,
Buddy system modes?
team-isodes,
teamisodes?
episodes, or like epics, episodes. No,
Epic
Like Star Wars.
like
Epic-sodes?
episodes.
I don't know. Yeah.
Teamwork-sode. We'll work on it.
Anyways.
We'll find something.
The year is 1972,
Dun, dun.
and there are no Death Stars in this story.
Well, shit.
Yeah, the year is 1972, May 12th to be exact, and Exile on Main Street by the Rolling Stones is released.
Right on. Yeah.
Thank you, I like that. That was cool.
Crowd goes wild.
Anyway, this one here is one of my gems. We were actually just talking about this before we turned on the podcast. Between this one and my White Album, this one definitely took me the longer time to find, and I didn't pay as much for
Yeah.
it.
I was there the whole journey.
Yeah.
You're like, I want one day you're just like, I want this album. And
Yeah.
then it was like months. Like,
Well, I mean, it's like I kind of remember that time. Well, we'll get to that story in a second.
Yeah,
That'll be
yeah.
my finding story. Anyways, it's May 12th, 1972. Exile on Main Street is released. Album comes in just under 70 minutes. This is a big album.
That's
it is
pretty
a
long.
double vinyl. Has a lot of fantastic songs on it. It was recorded, and this is the other thing, is that it took a freaking long time to record. This is like borderline on your stuff recording, except I think your stuff would get done quicker than this.
Well, I mean,
I'm pointing to Kyle.
Yeah.
Because nobody can hear
I'm
me
just,
or see me.
I wanted to ask exactly what you meant by like recording wise, like
It took a long time,
Like-
time length wise.
to
so
get the material.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
they started or they had some stuff originally written in I think around 1969 when they were with their old
Right.
label, and so come around 1970 when they had just gotten off of their contract had expired. I want to say with Decca Records, they completely just booked it. Thank you, Chris. They completely booked it. Went to London to start their new album and whatnot. So they started in October 1970. Stopped. Started again June 1971 until March 1972.
Interesting.
Yeah.
I don't hear these stories mostly. Mine. That's crazy, man.
Yeah, it's like a span of pretty much 4 years
Yeah.
that they've been working on this, which is an insanely long time. But yeah, they had originally started working at Olympic Studios. They had started getting down a lot of their smaller stuff, their background stuff done. Olympic Studios is known for like everybody, and I mean the people I'm gonna name, everybody's heard of: Beatles, B.B. King, Ray Charles, Eric Clapton, Joe Cocker, Jimi Hendrix, and a slew of many others.
Wow.
Yeah.
Those are the big ones.
Yeah.
I'm like, fuck. That's like
Everybody's.
That's my playlist.
Everybody's pretty much heard of them. So, but yeah, that's where they started, and then some issues started arising where they had spent their tax money, and I guess the people of the UK were going to take their assets, so they kind of booked it to France.
Oh, geez.
Yeah.
Oh, God.
Yeah, so
They're
I
just gonna
think-
take all their stuff, huh?
Yeah, so I think that was the thing between October 1970 and June 1971. They were kind of just hanging out in France and whatnot. And Jagger went and did his thing. Richards is, southern France doing his thing.
Want drugs.
And
I would too. I would be
yeah,
in southern France.
yeah. Well, I mean, he was
wouldn't wanna
on
go
the
to southern
Mediterranean
France?
too.
Yeah.
Come on. Yeah.
So what ends up happening? The next place that they end up recording is called Nelcote, France, and I say coat even though it's spelled cot, but it has one of those funky accents over
Yeah.
the O's. Yeah.
Oh, like a Nelco.
Yeah,
Just
Nelcote.
like, Nice, France, spelled
Yeah.
nice.
or
like
the
it's- it
Côte
looks like
d'Azur.
Yeah.
Yeah. But anyways, what this place is, and this is a physical building. It's called Nelcote, and it's in France. And what it was leased by Keith Richards during the use for this album or whatever. It's like a 16-room mansion, massive fucking place where they're basically a getaway from a getaway to, oh, let's record. Why not?
Wow.
That kind of thing. A cool fact about this place was in the 1940s during the Nazi reign, I guess you could say.
The Third
when
Reich.
they occupied France back in like
occupation. That was the word I was looking for. During the French occupation, the Nazis used, or the Gestapo at the time, used that building as a headquarters.
Oh, shit.
kidding.
And now Richards uses it
Yeah.
as a headquarters.
Yeah, Keith Richards is using it as a headquarters for heroin and
Spiritus Sanctis.
yeah. So yeah, it was leased by him. These sessions, I want to believe, are the June 1971 sessions. But I mean, it was a bad time because none of the group was really involved. Like, not the entire band was there during the sessions to do everything and all that kind of thing. Jagger was kind of like non-existent at the time, and
that's got to be a pain in the ass too. Like, as a musician, you guys know if that's the guy in front and he's never there.
everybody was kind of not there. I mean, like
So like, how did the sessions go? Like, who was there? Was there anybody there for every session, or were the guys like putting it all
I
on?
want to say, I guess the engineers and the producers were there.
They're just looking at their watches like, okay, they got about 3 minutes until I clock out. Like,
Well, I mean, I
It's
guess
like
like certain
that.
band members would show up at one time,
And they would they'd work, but
I mean,
it was
it was
trying to schedule these fucking guys who are just diddle daddling around
Yeah.
fucking.
fuck.
it's
Europe.
kind of like back and forth because I mean, like Jagger wouldn't be there for sometimes. I mean, this during this time, Keith Richards was really getting big into heroin. I mean, some of the stuff that I read was like there were thousands of pounds going through that place. Every other week, the visitors that they had there were all drug induced and
Yeah, it's a group
traumatized and
sport.
Yeah, and
It is. Nobody, like, hardly anybody does heroin alone. It's always a group sport, especially if you have money.
Yeah,
like rock
sure.
stars
Not
and
only
stuff.
not only that, it's like someone nods out, somebody's got to be there to make sure they're not dead.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So.
So I mean, at that time, Keith Richards, even though it was his place that he was leasing and all that stuff, he was kind of out of the picture too. And yeah, it was just it wasn't a really good time.
The music though that came out of this album,
Right,
It's
but
so
that's
crazy.
Yeah, that's the thing though. It's like, even though this album is phenomenal, I will say that until the day I die. The music is phenomenal, but considering all the back history behind all of it, and I mean the time that it took almost 4 years. I mean, months here and there between those 4 years,
Right.
but
Is that in between albums? I'm sorry. Is that in between albums, or is that in between like?
I want to say like
singles,
tours and
between-
deals and stuff
okay.
like that.
So like they were
'cause-
touring. They weren't really recording full albums. They were doing more so singles here or there.
Yeah, because I mean, by
kinda-
1970, they were getting out of their old contract, and they
Right.
really wanted to get out of that. And they started this album is actually under their own Rolling Stones records.
Okay. Is this the
label.
first of them
Yeah.
doing that? Oh, cool.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah. And the other funny thing is that some of the tracks on this album were actually written while they were still under contract with Decca, or I want to say it was Decca. And so that actually some of the songs on this album are still giving royalties to their old deal.
What?
Yeah.
Because the songs were written then?
Yeah.
So, do you
Because
think,
the songs written at that time were under contract with them.
Okay,
shit.
so the heads of that studio or
Yeah.
the label knew that's like, okay, these songs are what we have put.
Yeah, because I
Okay.
mean, afterwards it was a big to do. They, the old label took them to court because they actually knew.
Shit.
Yeah, I mean, some record labels are like that, which sucks. But I mean,
Well, the contract you signed.
yeah,
Yeah.
contract is a contract.
Yeah.
Exactly.
You know what you're getting yourself into. Yeah, because I was
Read
about
the
to say
fine
like,
print type
I was like,
Yeah.
how the hell are they gonna know what like somebody else wrote? Like,
Once
come
it
on.
gets released, and well, I mean, I think how it is today. I mean, record labels, some of the bigger ones do have a kind of a choice of what you put on the album, so they're gonna know what you wrote.
I feel like nowadays like the label itself is way too involved in the process now to where a lot of artists don't even write their own material.
You gotta make money.
They're on the line actually. this
Essentially,
label.
if you want to make it in the music business, be a songwriter.
Yeah.
Don't be
yeah.
an artist. Be a
Well, I
songwriter.
mean, that's
the only,
the only way that the real music will get out there.
Yeah.
And then you have to use like pretty much the talent, which is the singers or the face. It's not even have to be talented, but you just use them as a, like a smoke screen.
Yeah.
But your music gets out there type
Yeah.
shit.
Yeah, like what was it? I was thinking of the only artist I've ever really been happy to listen to, even though I knew from the get go, it's like this artist has not written any of the songs. His piano player has.
Justin Bieber.
No, Meatloaf. I was like,
Meatloaf, yeah.
I was like, I love a lot of the songs. Like any music video he has on YouTube, I've watched. I love it. I constantly listen to it. But it's like I do understand that he hasn't. Yeah.
yeah, no, you
I understand,
kind of
like he hasn't written any of it. His piano player has, but it's just like these songs are amazing when he sings it though, and
Sure.
it works as a whole dynamic. It's really great.
Yeah, no, yeah.
But I
agree with
won't
you on
do that.
Yeah, you're the one that actually like got me into Meatloaf because I used to like kind of make fun of him and I thought he was cool in like Fight Club, but like I never really appreciated him until a couple of years ago when you were like, man, Meatloaf. I was like,
Yeah,
oh,
right.
yeah.
Right before we get back
hungry.
to Ian, just check that out on YouTube. Meatloaf. No, but so
Or
what,
go
what,
cook yourself some.
what songs would I know are on this album, dude?
Oh God, I don't honestly don't think that you would know a lot. There, I mean, the one that I've played over and over and over again, which will be in my later story, is "Shine a Light,"
Shine a Light.
Yeah.
Yeah, we listened to that in your room a few times. But
and it's by far my favorite song off the album. Not saying that the other ones aren't fantastic; they are. I can listen to this album all the way through, and it's like okay, time to put it on repeat. That kind of thing. It's one of those like I have the vinyl for nostalgic sake, but if I'm listening to it, I will actually pop it on my good speakers and that kind of thing, the ones that I use for mixing, and just listen to it, and
Just
it's
rock out.
fantastic. Yeah, I mean, it's a good album to like put on and go fucking do the dishes or the laundry or whatever, wash your balls, whatever. It's a
Yeah.
good album. Period.
Fuck it.
Motherfucker.
I'm done. Time travel.
I'm not done yet. I still got a little ways to go. Anyways, after Nelcoat, they went to Sunset Sound Recorders. We've talked about them previously. I'm not going to list any of the fucking artists who have been on there. 'Cause,
Yeah,
I mean,
we've
talked about them a lot previously. But these were their overdub sessions. This was, and funny enough, Jagger was actually more involved in these sessions than he was in the Nelcoat sessions. Yeah. So, I mean, he was kind of, in charge. Yeah. So he was pretty much involved with all them. And some fun facts for you. Actually, for everybody, really.
Yeah.
Some of the names that they got involved on this, and I'm only going to list two, but there are a lot more. If you want to go look into them, they're fantastic. Billy Preston, he got involved with the piano and the organ on Shine a Light. So now I can finally understand why it's so difficult for me to learn how to play that on piano, because Billy Preston did it first. The other thing was Dr. John also appears on this album.
The Doctor.
Yeah.
I didn't know that.
He appears on backing vocals on one song.
Which one?
I didn't list it.
It's okay. We'll check it out after
I was
the
about to say,
cast,
you'll
huh?
have to listen
Huh?
to the album. Too.
Yeah.
Well, what Jagger
That's
was doing
awesome.
was he basically employed the cream of the cream in the LA area for backing vocals on this song, and they got Dr. John and a whole bunch of other people. Yeah,
That's cool. Holy fuck. Now I'm going to have to listen
that's
to the
really-
whole thing.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
it was produced by Jimmy Miller. The only fantastic thing that I thought was cool was that he had produced Traffic, Ginger Baker, Motorhead, and a bunch of others.
That's a great list.
Yeah,
I
but,
mean, the others, it's like they've got to be just as
Blind
good.
Faith, I think, was
Wow.
another one. Yeah,
Wow, dude.
yeah, and
That's
then of
cool.
course a shit ton of Rolling Stones.
Said his name was Miller or Jimmy.
Jimmy Miller, yeah.
Blind Faith.
I've heard that name before too, and I didn't look more into it, but I know that
Yeah.
I've heard it before.
Yeah,
I might
that's
think
badass, dude.
Faith No More. That's what I think about. You want it all, but you can't have it. That's all.
So I'm gonna wrap my history part on this before I get to my story, because the story and actually trying to acquire this album is pretty fucking long. But charts in certifications, they hit number 1 in the UK and the US when it was first released. There was a re-release in, I think, 2004, 2010. I know that's kind of a big jump, but I couldn't remember and didn't really care
Well,
much.
it took them a while to get their fucking album done,
Yeah,
so
I
I
didn't-
guess the re-release took a
Yeah.
little while
yeah,
too.
I didn't
huh?
really care about the re-release
Yeah.
very much, but I mean, hit you number 1 in the UK and in the US, and in both countries has gone platinum. The singles are Tumbling Dice on one side, and then the other side of that one it was Sweet Black Angel. Oh, excuse me. The second one was Happy, and then the other side of that one is All Down the Line, which All Down the Line is pretty good, along with Tumbling Dice. Actually, they're all good. But
Wow.
anyways,
Yeah, I don't recognize any of those songs.
Yeah,
I have to listen
Tumbling
to them.
Dice, I think I've heard, but I can't get the melody
Yeah.
in my head right now. It's
There-
been a
there's-
while since I've heard.
There's
some
not
of
a
these
lot
songs,
of
so.
there actually wasn't really a lot of hits on this at all.
Yeah.
But I
Really,
mean,
yeah.
it's one of those closet this one's good.
Right.
Yeah, it's
right.
kind of like, this is good.
It's I don't know. I recognize the album,
Mm-hmm.
but I haven't really paid much mind to it. The stuff that you hear on the radio is not this.
No, you
No,
don't.
you don't hear
a
this.
lot of this.
So,
Maybe Shine a Light every so often, but it's
Maybe.
very, very rare.
Do you know what year they did Cocksucker Blues?
Oh God, no, I don't. Not off the top of my head.
Because I remember in the opening
It might be around the
shots,
1970s because I remember some of those shots. They were in a big ass house.
Big ass house playing the
They-
piano and
yeah.
stuff. Yeah, that's what I was
Yeah.
thinking. I was like, was that Richard's house? I was like, was that the place?
That's interesting. Yeah, I've seen some of those videos of them doing different songs from in the '70s from one of my favorite albums, which is Some Girls. And they're doing the opening song off the record. It's like this country song. I forgot the name of it, but it's like I ran 20 red lights.
Oh
and his
yeah,
on.
Yeah,
girl
yeah.
with the
Faraway Eyes.
Faraway
Yeah, it
Eyes.
is.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Fantastic.
I get a little weary on names sometimes, but I
Yeah.
recognize names. The Stones, they got such a fucking
That song
mark.
is awesome.
That is
Yeah.
a fantastic song.
But they're in
Honestly,
that
videos
same
on
house,
YouTube.
right?
Might be. It
Yeah,
might be.
they're playing it live. They're all fucked up.
But on a side note,
Very.
Cocksucker Blues, I recommend it. It is not necessarily family friendly whatsoever.
No
but
kids in the room.
Yeah,
not
no.
safe for work.
Yeah, it is not safe for work, but it is a good, I guess, semi-documentary kind of thing. It's like, hey, we have a camera and we're going to record everything.
Yeah.
But it's like the old-time vloggers.
The plane
They
the
started
plane thing
it.
got me.
Oh, the plane thing? Yeah.
The plane thing got me.
It's like a
At first, I was like, "Oh, they're just having fun. It's
jungle
cool, it's wild."
music. Like everybody's got like a shaker or like something, and things are happening.
I
We're
was
not
like,
we're
it
not
wa-
gonna ruin it.
I didn't think it was weird until the drums came out.
Yeah.
and I was just like, "This is weird." Like now, I feel dirty for watching this.
Yeah.
Like,
Anyways, back to the story. Oh God! In finding this album, because it is a pure find. This was purely found, and it was by sheer fucking luck that I found
oh
it.
yeah.
I had first heard Shine a Light watching Californication, the TV series, and season 6, it's episode 1 through 4 is like all they hint at everything like this album almost. They talk about Room 1009. Shine a Light is played in one of the episodes. Exile on Main Street, I believe, is the title of the first episode of that
Wow.
season. Yeah.
So it took
They-
a lot of inspiration.
Yeah, they really go into town with that one. But the cool thing is what I heard was they played Shine a Light at a funeral. And the guy who was playing it was Tim Minchin. Tim Minchin
Yes.
is hilarious comedic pianist. He's a fantastic piano player. Absolutely
Oh,
recommend
yeah.
checking him out. But the thing was, it's like you see these people play, and you're like, man, I wonder, can he actually play? And that's how I got into Tim Minchin as well.
Yeah.
And so it's like, okay, Shine a Light. Is this actually a real song? It was. It's like, cool. It transgressed from there to, when I was working at my other job, my old job, to listening to the full album. And it's like at those times, I had time enough to really dive deep into it and listen to the full thing and still appreciate it even though I was working.
Yeah.
So, it's just continues from there. It progresses into like, well, now I have to get this album.
Yeah.
And it's literally, I want to say it was almost like a year or so. I mean, it has been a long time. You know, our main squeeze for vinyl records right now, I guess you could pretty much, well, for me is Blue Shark. I don't.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
Blue
At
Shark's
this
my main
point, yeah.
squeeze.
Yeah, and
My
so
place kind of shut
Was it
down
there,
now.
there was Fat Cats and they moved out of town.
Yeah,
Oh,
so
wow.
they're out
you're
in
gonna have
Stafford
to
now. So
yeah, you're gonna have to go a couple miles to hit them now. But
anyways, the
check
guy
'em
from
out.
Blue Shark pretty much knows me by face, and you know, we look through the stuff.
yeah,
And I mean, I had gone in there several times looking for it. I mean, it's one of those experiences where you forget about it for a couple months, and then you're like, oh, I'm downtown. Let me go to Blue Shark.
yep, that's exactly.
Let me
what I
go
do.
in. Oh, it's not here. You know, it's like, well, let me see what else is here and all that crap. I mean, this happens
Bread,
like
Rod
3 or 4
Stewart,
times.
Bread, Rod Stewart.
Yeah, and it got to a point where I wanted to bread and butter, yeah. And it got to a point where it's like he has a little book behind the counter that you can actually write down stuff that you're looking for.
right.
And I put it in there again. I had originally put it back when I had first, you know, heard everything and stuff. And nothing came about it. And still, time and time again, still looking for it. Can't find it at all. And I believe Chris and I one day went down to Blue Shark, and we're going in.
Yep.
And I just happened to ask him, I was like, hey, Exile on Main Street, do you have it? Yes, we have one, and we just got it.
Yeah.
Oh man, that's perfect.
Literally.
And you just lost
Perfect.
it, sir.
Yeah. It was just got it. We just got it in. I was like, cool. That's coming home with me.
Yeah, it's like, how much again? 400. Yeah, okay.
I think at that point,
point?
I might have probably said yes too, because it's like,
Right.
this one's
After
actually
searching for so long.
yeah. After it's one of those like victory moments. I have pulled fucking Excalibur out of the goddamn stone. This bitch is mine now. England, bow down.
Yeah.
You know, it was one of those
mine.
moments. Yeah, it was one of those moments. And I mean, and it's a good copy too. I mean, everything sounds great. Now, I don't know if it's a reissue or not, and I want to say it's not.
Doesn't look it
Because
from what
it-
I'm looking at. The wear on the corners of the
Yeah.
record, it looks pretty original. The booklet is what confused me when I first looked at your
Yeah.
record
The
The
here.
booklet
So.
comes with it.
I was gonna
Is
say,
that how
like,
it's always
the
been,
The package
though,
on the
or-
table is almost as heavy as Excalibur
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
itself right
Yeah.
now. Like that.
But I
thing,
mean, like
you're getting a
there's the
lot.
postcards that come with the original. You know,
Okay,
it's-
so the original stuff that they were putting
Yeah.
out then, that's a really cool piece then, because
Yeah.
like, you know, not a lot of groups were like making that kind of thing happen. Like here's a picture book, you know, it's 72. You say
it was released in '72. Yeah.
72 was
That's
the time.
a lot of bang for your buck.
Yeah.
Dark Side of the Moon, when it came out, was the first of its kind to have the lyrics inside the
Yeah.
the opening.
Sleeve, yeah,
okay,
for sure.
like you open up the whole
Album.
Yeah.
album sleeve, and bam, look at that. That's all the lyrics. So like this right here is kind of like a memorabilia style,
Yeah.
like more personal than prior things. Records were just records. You just
Yeah.
open them up. And
Well, I mean,
Yeah.
like my Beatles White Album, I'm missing one thing to make that a
Right.
complete set, and it's the booklet that came with it.
right.
Like,
Well,
I
that
have
was
the pictures
The
and
White Album
everything,
came
but-
out. What year do you guys remember?
I think that was 72.
Ish.
I think that was
70.
72.
Ish,
I think.
Ish.
ish.
Well, anyways, it's
Yeah, it's a fantastic album. I mean, it really took me a long time to find it, and I had been holding off on presenting it to great dismay by the rest of our group members. Actually, one who's not here, Cody. He's
We miss you.
I'm looking at his empty chair, and the mic stands there, and
The
he's
empty
just
mic.
not there.
Yeah, and he was calling for that one
Yeah.
from you, man. That,
He was
that
pushing
would
me
have been
for it.
awesome.
White Album 1968.
Ah, before.
There it is,
Yep.
yeah.
And it had the pictures and the booklet and everything with
Uh-huh.
it. So I could go on and on forever about this album. I really could.
It's a great pure find, in my
Yeah,
opinion.
man.
That's
I'm
that's
really
what
happy you
I'm
found
into.
it
That,
eventually.
this
I
the
would-
find is like, oh,
Yeah.
that's what I live for.
Highly
it's like-
recommend listening to it. Highly recommend. I know I've said that on previous casts. But
Oh,
man,
yeah.
highly recommend listening to it. There's so many good songs that aren't played on the radio, and even though it is, it's a big album, there's like not really any hits on it, and it's one of those closet case like this is.
Yeah,
This
it's
is
the
solid.
secret. It's the greatest,
Yeah.
one of the greatest secrets ever.
Yeah,
I'm gonna
this
have
is
to listen
solid.
to it and see what I think, man. I think I'm gonna like it because I've never been like.
I
Rolling
mean,
Stone.
yeah, the Stones have always been
Yeah.
good.
Well, the funny
you
thing is
know,
that
that's what I
mom's
like.
always, my mother always, she kind of tried to push me away from the Stones. Mom wasn't a big Stones fan.
Okay.
Just wasn't a Stones fan. I never really got the whole
I
explanation.
mean, Mick Jagger wasn't really the greatest vocalist in the world.
Well, no, but I mean, people don't like things for many reasons. I don't know that reason, to be honest with you. I never got the full rundown. It was just, why are you listening to the Stones? Like, really? And it's like, yeah.
Well,
because some of it's good, Mom. I'm sorry.
so it's good. I like it. It's heart music.
Yeah.
Yeah, but
My dad hated Nirvana. I was like, what? Well, how?
I love Nirvana.
Yeah, Nirvana's
yes.
awesome.
The Swami who hung out with the Beatles all the time during their indie
Ravi
years.
Shankar?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Dude.
Yeah, like
Fuck yeah.
he mentioned a lot about what is it? Like everybody is when you're born, there's certain frequencies that will attune to like your heart and your mind. Like they'll sync up with everything, and that's kind of like the reasoning for the music you like and stuff. It's like maybe you just had some Rolling Stones on your frequency, and she didn't. You know,
I mean, that's not to say
Interesting.
that she wouldn't listen to him. She just didn't
Yeah.
enjoy like constantly listening to. I guess.
oh yeah, constantly. I mean,
Yeah.
Right.
there's
I mean,
only so much "Start Me Up" you can hear.
yeah.
I could listen to.
I mean, I can listen to a lot of Stones though.
This
I got a
album-
greatest hits that I listen to while I do the dishes while I'm taking a dump.
This album I could listen to all day. Their hits I can listen to. Some of their other like B-side stuff I have trouble.
Yeah, they
continuing
got
through,
certain songs that I don't, especially in the '80s. Once you get into the '80s Stones, like,
Yeah.
eh.
Was "Wild Horses" a big hit?
Yes, it
Yes.
was. That was a
that's a good
absolutely, absolutely,
That was
friggin'
a fantastic song.
love it.
But I'm gonna stop talking about the Stones. I've talked long enough as it is for 3 people on this podcast.
Badass, man.
So-
You're definitely
That's the start of this podcast.
Yeah, it's a good
Pictures!
start. I fuck up in the middle, then Kyle saves at the end. That's how we do it.
time travel,
Time traveling to
travel.
1978, in Toronto, Canada, our true
Canada?
north neighbors.
I like how he said can't.
Canada.
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 Ant Canada?
Ant Canada. No, it's
Toronto.
Canada.
Toronto.
Canada.
Yeah,
Toronto.
Canada.
Toronto.
A?
Tonto.
Tonto.
Canada.
Tonto.
It slowly becomes more and more American.
America.
Toronto.
Toronto. So Toronto, 1978. Black Sabbath they started recording their 8th and final studio album with Ozzy.
With Ozzy.
Yep, this is the last time that the band will play as the first group.
Woohoo!
Yeah.
It's an interesting album. I think you showed me some really cool shit off it, but I can't wait to hear what you
Yeah,
have to say,
it's
'cause
like-
I'm not too familiar with this record.
My absolute favorite. That's interesting you say that because not a lot of people are. It didn't do well. This album was, it's for the naysayers. It's a lot of people ridiculed it. They said the album is confused. The album sounds like a disgrace. It sounds disgusting. But what was going on? Here's the story. Here's the rundown. This was after their 7th studio album, Technical Ecstasy, and they had just kind of had it with each other. They were just kind of like going through a lot of stuff. The drugs and the alcohol were still in full effect. Like, yeah,
Team sport. We learned about that earlier.
Yeah. It's
Yeah.
a team sport. It really is.
Callback.
And I think the last album I did for Sabbath was Sabbath Bloody Sabbath, and I was talking about their drugs and alcohol problems then as well, right?
Yeah.
So it's
It comes up every time we talk about him.
yeah,
sure.
I was
I mean,
like,
I-
so it's carried on through all these years.
Damn Brits.
Yeah, what happens before they even talk about starting? Well, they
Just damn the Eagles. They started. it.
started all of it.
Damn whites.
Fuck them. Yeah, so they start just Tony starts looking for a studio. They find it was the Sounds Interchange
Who?
Studios in Toronto.
Who?
Tony Iommi, the guitarist.
Oh, I thought you said Tony Stark.
No,
That's what it sounded like.
Different podcast.
I've got headphones on so I can hear everything a little bit more clearly.
Yeah.
But it sounded like you said Tony Stark, and I'm like,
Nope.
Iron Man was there too? Really?
Tony Iommi starts looking for a studio.
Like that tie-in.
He finds the Sounds Interchange studio in Toronto, and he books it. And then before they even go into the studio to start getting material together, Ozzy quits. He runs out. What was happening was his father was passing away.
Oh, okay. I was about to say, did he run out of pigeons?
No. No, he was.
I'm throwing a lot of jabs. I know. I'm sorry.
But yeah, so he leaves to tend to that, but he didn't really tell anybody or talk to anybody about it. He just left.
It's understandable.
Yeah, and you were talking about surprise, like, oh, people came in to work on Exile on Main Street. Dr.
Yeah.
John, you mentioned that. I was very happy. Hopefully you'll be happy at this. So with Ozzy gone, they started recruiting like a new singer, somebody to help write and everything. What's Dave Walker? Let me see here. Yeah, Dave Walker
It's a random name I've never heard of.
from Fleetwood Mac. He's one of the vocalists from Fleetwood Mac.
No, that's okay.
Yeah, he came in and he wrote lyrics. The band worked all together.
It's a weird collaboration.
Yes,
It
it was.
That's a really weird
I think maybe the Eagles inspired them somehow, huh?
Yeah.
all the cocaine on the mixing board.
Yeah, it's like it was mixed bag.
That's odd. That's such a weird collaboration.
I heard it, I think, in your vehicle. You played it, and it didn't sound like Ozzy. And I was like,
Yeah.
and you're like, this is Black Sabbath. And we were talking
Yeah.
about it, and I was like, huh.
No,
Yeah, because
Yeah,
what
it
we
was
were
so-
listening to, that's the best part of the story because it didn't sound like that. The song I told you was off of this album, but the song was "Swinging the Chain." The song "Swinging the Chain" and Bill Ward sung that song and wrote it.
Wow.
The drummer.
Wow. So it is a real Sabbath song. No ifs, ands, or buts.
No ifs, ands, or buts.
Shit.
It's all original.
So what did what's his name, Mr. Walker, sing there?
Well, Dave Walker didn't end up singing on anything.
He just helped write.
Yeah, because like I said,
Wow.
Ozzy was away for 3 months.
So so was that the drummer singing the whole time?
Mhm.
Wow.
Yeah.
Like this stuff.
Yeah,
Like
right. And I
this
was
stuff.
like, wow, Bill Ward. Like, and if you listen to that song, it's really fucking good.
Absolutely, yeah. It's not doesn't
Yeah.
sound like Sabbath. Sounds like some
Yeah.
70s band or whatever, early
Yeah.
70s band. It's
Yeah,
like
Swinging the Chain is just it's more hard rock. This
Yeah.
whole album, that's why people shit on it so bad. All the critics shat on them so bad for this album
because it didn't sound like
it didn't sound
it didn't
like
sound
them,
like
yeah.
Sabbath. It
Yeah.
sounded like hard rock, a little progressive,
Yeah.
jazz,
That's cool.
like
Yeah.
jazzy with distortion.
Well, I mean, the drummer, the drummer from Sabbath, if that's the same drummer, which it has to
Yeah,
be the
Bill
same.
Ward.
Yeah, he was. If you look at the whole band and you look at him, he kind of makes the difference. You know, he's not the drummer, the metal drummer like that has. We've progressed a long way since
Yeah.
the '60s, '70s. Metal drums from that time have definitely evolved through the '70s into the '80s, and then throughout time, like now with blast beats and fucking all sorts of
Yeah.
badass drums. But he was a traditional jazz drummer playing with guys that aren't really playing jazz. And so it's kind of cool the techniques that he was using in the early days with that
Oh, yeah,
Tony
yeah.
Iommi, like it's crazy. And then to think, well, this guy probably, if he's playing jazz style drums, is playing in a different, like maybe I can't show you anybody, but like
If you're a drummer or traditional style, that's what
like
it's
the
called.
Buddy
Yeah.
Rich kind
yeah,
of
yeah, like
Traditional.
kind of
Yeah,
plays a little bit
traditional.
like that.
one off to the side, like
Yeah.
British.
It's traditional grip. That's
Yeah.
basically all it is.
Is that what it's called? Yeah, I'm not a drummer,
How'd
but
they
I
come up with that?
I
Brett?
am.
How'd they come up with that one first?
I don't know.
Seems
It's
like
a
I
good
would-
question.
I would- I
But
would
no,
have done
that's really cool. So he sang.
I
So
know
he's
the answer
another
to that.
drummer that sang. I'm gonna listen to that album. What?
I know the answer to that.
I want to hear.
What's
it.
up?
Okay, so military drum styles. Most of your
Drummer
the harnesses
boys.
back in the day were basically just straps, and so your drum would be angled
Like
at an angle, and that's where your the traditional grip comes in. Is that if you're holding the drumstick in your left hand, you have to have it angled. So it's like none of you can see me doing this, but I'm trying to explain this to them in a way. And the hell is that?
I was gonna play "Swinging the Chain" real quick, but
But
it
it's
just kinda
basically
started.
it has to. The drum was angled at the time, so they had to think of a way to play with that angled drum, and that's where your traditional grip comes in.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's why it came up first, other than like the obvious. Like
Right.
I would have. If somebody
Yeah.
handed me sticks
Because
and were
your-
like, sit at
Your
this
drum's
set.
like this, like at a 45-degree angle.
Yeah.
If you're playing like this, you can't do that.
No,
yeah.
it's horrible. So you can just
Yeah.
chill. Yeah, that works. That
And
works.
so, and then it
Wow.
transitioned
Holy
to when, many years later into drum sets and stuff like that. The traditional, that's still thought of.
Mm-hmm.
It's that now it's I guess more associated with jazz drummers, but I mean anybody can really fucking do it. It's just
Yeah. Like the rev.
Yeah. So yeah, that's that.
Yeah, but this is if you've heard Sabbath before, this is
Puzzle.
Swinging the Chain.
Totally doesn't sound like them at all.
Not one bit.
Not one bit.
That's a good song.
Sounds awesome, though. I like it. Yeah.
Yeah, and
Like it's badass. Still kicking it. You know what I mean?
absolutely. So that's Swinging the Chain. So Dave Walker, the band, they're all working together, writing songs up. Dave's writing lyrics, and Ozzy comes back. Just back to the studio and everything.
Hello, Governor.
Yeah, it's like, and they've said in interviews,
Where's my pigeons?
in more recent interviews in the past like 20 years, they've all admitted that it's like at that point, like something had changed. It was just different between everybody, and they, just the spark was gone at that point, and
The flame has died.
yeah, it was just they were just like, fuck, let's just write some stuff, get through this, and Ozzy wrote. Junior's Eyes, which is another song on here. He wrote that for his. He rewrote the lyrics. Ozzy he totally negated everything that Dave wrote that they've been working on. Everything that they've been working on, there's like no, balled it up. Right away. It's like I'm rewriting to y'all's music, and he did it. He went in, and after that the record got done, and that's what came out. It's a mixture of, like I said, hard rock. Jazz and progressive, just totally sounds different from any other album, and that's why it just wasn't it wasn't really well received by people. But it's a good album. If you listen to all these songs, they're really awesome.
Yeah,
they kick ass. Swinging the Chains, like just that one, I was like, fuck, that sounds like you could like a Deep Purple throwaway or something.
Sure.
It's like, fuck, I'll listen to it. Hell yeah. And I've always wondered that because I listened to that song too back when, like, I would show you and you're like, who is this? And I was like, oh, it's Sabbath, man. I was like,
You showed me some chill Sabbath, and I think it's off this record.
Yeah, there's
like,
a song,
it's like
It's All Right.
I think that maybe
that might have been off of Technical Ecstasy though.
Oh, maybe. I don't know. I heard one and it was like, whoa, this is
it's
like,
all right.
Yeah, I think that's different album.
Let me see here. They would just write all the music during the day. They'd use the daytime during their studio time to go over to across the street. There was a movie theater that during the day it's like it's not going to run because people want to go see movies at night. So they would actually just sit at the theater and write and do their thing and rehearse. And then at night,
that's cool.
Yeah, and at night they would go back across the street and record it. They ended up they ended up ripping up all the carpet out of the studio to get a more live sound.
Huh.
Because apparently
dampen sound.
Yeah, they were just listening to it and they was like, this is shit, we can't do it. We can't create like this. What are you doing, you idiots? And they rip up the carpets, but the studio was cool with it because I guess it's Sabbath. That's why I would have said. I'm like, you guys rock, do whatever you want. You want some money too? Ozzy was really out of it when the song Breakout, when he heard the song Breakout, which is, that's something I would skip over too because it is immensely annoying to me. Because it's about 2 minutes and 50 seconds of horns and drums like dun, dun, dun. And then the horns would go da 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 da, and it would just keep going like that, and it was like, it would just be overbearing. It's just this little jazz instrumental that goes on way too long, and that's when Ozzy was like, "This is shit. No more of this. Like, I'm done." And they finished the album. The album was released. Like I said, didn't do too well, but I really like it. I thought it was really cool, though. It's just a different side of Sabbath.
Well, I mean, yeah, it sits in a glass case in our house.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I have my copy hung up on the wall because one thing I love about this album most of all, which I'm going to move on, is the album art.
Oh my God, it looks so awesome. It reminds me of the 80s, I guess, like. It kind of signifies the 80s, but it was 78 that it came out. I was talking with Chris before the cast started. Yeah. It's like, man, I love the colors. I love
it's a very 80s-tastic.
Yeah.
I love it like
it's a precursor into the 80s.
Yeah.
The front of this cover features 2 British pilots in full pilot gear. Back in the day, You had hoses. You just had this like bag helmet with goggles like taped on, and just mounds of hoses coming off of it to help you breathe while you're up in the air. And these two guys just look like they're about to do some badass shit. Probably drop bombs.
They
on
look
people.
like some aliens. They just straight up look like aliens.
Yeah, and then it just says "Never Say Die" and Black Sabbath up there. On
Reminds
the
me
back.
of Cyrax and Sector from Mortal Kombat.
There's a yellow one and a red one. Yeah. And on the back you get a shot of one of the guys actually in the cockpit. That's why I do have this album hanging up. I absolutely love the album art. It's very reminiscent to me. It's reminiscent of Heavy Metal, the movie.
Oh yeah, great movie by the way.
The animated movie. Yeah, when it's like the guy's flying and then he encounters like all the zombies on the island and shit. You know, all like that. And I fucking just. It's not every day you get to hold on to like a really, really awesome picture.
Yeah.
And that's what I'm very happy about. Is like the album art looks great, and I don't listen to this album constantly, so I don't mind putting it in a frame.
It's in good shape though.
Oh yeah, it's in excellent shape. I got this one from the owner, from my old manager.
Oh, okay, yeah. So when you helped him move out and stuff.
Yep,
Yeah,
I helped him move out, and this was in the collection, and I saw it. I was like, holy fuck! I never even thought like I would see that shit in real life. For this album, they also toured with Van Halen to promote this album.
Okay, wow. So 78 Van Halen at that time. They were doing some cool shit. I think they were on Van Halen 2 by that time.
78, yeah.
Yeah, because 74, 75, I think, somewhere around there was their first record. And then 78 comes around. So I think they're on. So that would have been a badass show to see at that time, you know.
Yep. They toured with Van Halen, but then you think about like Van Halen.
Who was headlining? You know, was it Sabbath?
It was probably Halen, man.
It was?
I don't know.
That's weird.
I did not want to look at it.
We weren't really alive back then, but you know, it's like
it's hard to say because like I think Van Halen because like they're just so explosive and huge,
Yeah,
and then Sabbath comes out with the lackluster kind of album that
They're
people say where it's
like
like
dying
jazzy,
out.
calm down.
That's really
What
cool.
are we talking about?
Black Sabbath to promote this album. They toured with Van Halen.
Van Halen headlined.
Yeah,
Yeah.
More than likely, Van Halen.
yeah, that's what I was saying. Like that's
Wild, ain't
disturbing. It's disturbing to me.
It's crazy to think about.
That makes me very sad. But it was a good album. I've listened to Black Sabbath a whole lot more than Van Halen, so I don't mind saying that Black Sabbath is totally better than Van Halen. I'm okay to time travel, guys.
Kyle, bring us on home, man.
We're coming into the 90s.
90s.
I am happy that you picked the Rolling Stones because I feel like this band has kind of a callback to the Rolling Stones in their own right. Doing Blood, Sugar, Sex, Magic by, God damn it, who's it by?
Red Hot
who?
Chili Peppers.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
It was recorded between May and June of 1991. It was released September 24th of that same year by Warner Brothers. It was their third album on the top 200, but this album did way better than any other previous album that they had been like putting out. Like, and they've had a lot of problems with, you know, different bandmates and stuff, and just writing in general. The album previous to that was Mother's Milk, and it was mildly successful. It made it like within the top 200, is in like the 50s, 40s, 50s, like, you know. But it wasn't that spectacular. The producer, Michael Beinhorn or something like that.
Beinhorn.
I can't really pronounce his name.
Beinhorn is
Beinhorn's
a man.
fine.
Yeah, no, that's from my research. But he's worked with Social Distortion, Korn, Marilyn Manson, Black Label Society, Ozzy Osbourne, and many others.
He's a brother.
Yeah,
Family.
Yeah, he's cool.
he was directing them in like a heavier sounding, like, you know. I mean, obviously you heard those people. Like, he was kind of telling them to bring it down low, let's play heavy stuff.
Yeah, bring the thunder.
Yeah, and the lyrics need to be a little bit more radio friendly. So let's ease up on the lyrics. So the creativity was a little bit suppressed by the band, and they didn't really they were on contract. They weren't really been going through different, you know, bandmates. So they're in this real weird transitional period, and they were also looking to make more music happen. So they end up meeting up with Rick Rubin, who denied them their first album.
I heard about that.
Yeah, they went to Rick Rubin, and he was like, I don't want to mess with you guys. But
big producer.
Yeah, I know. Rubin.
oh, huge
I'm just
producer.
making sure.
Oh, yeah.
Just making sure.
Jay-Z, Metallica, Johnny Cash. I mean, the list really goes on. I can be here all day listing off all the people that man's worked with.
Literally could.
Yeah, all like the whole cast. We can just, and it's like, whoa, that one.
Podcast on Rick Rubin.
Yeah.
This album has 17 songs.
It's like
It's about 70 minutes to 75 minutes of music.
It's almost as long as Exile.
Yeah.
It is longer than Exile.
Yeah, it's a long album. It was recorded at Harry Houdini's mansion, which was said to be
That's cool.
haunted.
Oh,
so
sure.
that's the big thing about this, about the whole, like them getting into it. But they needed to get away from the everyday studio stuff. They wanted to get more creative, and they pumped out this music, and they pumped it out fast, like faster than any other. And that's another thing that I found interesting about Exile that kind of correlates with this group. To me, these guys kind of emulate the Stones. You got a vocalist who's not really the greatest in the world, but has presence and has pizzazz, and like it works. The band works, but they also have that like same kind of funky sound to them, like especially 70s Stones going into the mid 70s. They get into that funkiness, especially in Some Girls, but even a little before and a little bit after. I mean, the Stones are a rockin' band, and they kind of play and toy around with other genres of music, and I feel like this band does the same thing. They play funk to hard rock punk.
Yeah.
They do some kind of hip hop, the beat changes, signature
I like
changes.
early Red Hot
with
Chili
right,
Peppers.
yeah.
I've always just like put them as like funk.
They got
like
that
funk rock.
Flea, man.
But
you can't touch him.
Yeah, he's pretty
I'm-
sick.
The song that I'm thinking of, I can't think of the name of it, but I heard it in Wayne's World, and that's the early Red Hot Chili Peppers I like. That almost more rock than funk kind of.
Yeah.
Give it away, give it away,
Yeah.
give it away now.
Maybe not so
Yeah,
much.
that's this album, but
Yeah.
no,
Maybe
you're
not
probably
so
talking
much.
about earlier Chili Peppers, and I
Yeah.
gotta say they were all right. They weren't really big though. They didn't really come into their own until this album.
Yeah,
You know?
I agree.
Yeah, this is where, and this was actually at the same time. We're talking 1991. MTV at this time is still prime. MTV's still good.
Carson Daly.
Yeah, before that.
Beforehand.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that's
we're-
before Carson.
Yeah,
Yeah,
we're
Carson's
talking.
counting
We're
out.
talking like 91. I mean, I was
That
living
was
in.
more close to 2000s.
I was one.
I was
a baby.
I was living in Hawaii at this time, and
was
still will
91?
be living in Hawaii for another couple of years before I moved back to Virginia.
I
Like
was
that's where I
3.
was when this album was like
I was
released. so,
3
yeah,
in Virginia.
I was 2 going on 3 in Hawaii. But anyway,
In Hawaii.
besides the point. Besides the point.
Hawaii.
Hawaii. All right. Anyway, so this album, the videos that came out of it, Give It Away, Under a Bridge, which was their big hit.
Oh,
from
that's the slow jam.
Yeah, and a really, really good music video, I think. I thought it was well put together, but it's got a lot of different stuff on here that's fun to listen to. It's a fun album. I really enjoy listening to it. The group, like I said before they recorded this album and were working on the songs for this album, the songs before that were coming kind of here and there and everywhere. Like they weren't really putting out as much as they were, like in a timely fashion. This song, like all this stuff, working with Rick Rubin, which I've heard from other artists and other people in interviews, like he is so easy to work with, and it's such a great experience. I mean, the guy Metallica, for God's sakes, he changed and paved the way for them. AC/DC. I don't know.
Some bands just don't go anywhere until they meet Rick Rubin, and then it skyrockets, and it's like you're the shit now.
Yeah, and that's
Rick Rubin's known for making you the shit.
I don't want to take away from the Stones.
Yeah, right?
I don't want to take away from the Stones when I say that this band is like the Stones, because they're two different bands and they have their own flair to them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But what I'm saying is they're kind of the same, how they're set up in a way, but I feel like this band wouldn't have gotten anywhere if it wasn't for Rick Rubin, in my opinion, in my sole opinion. Like that maybe I'm wrong, but like I just don't think that they would have really kicked off and got like and skyrocketed to where they went to in the late 90s and into the 2000s. Yeah,
they're like spirit animals of each other.
Yeah, so it was really cool looking into this album.
I like that.
Yeah, that is good.
Spirit animals.
It was cool looking into this album more so. I've never really gotten into the Peppers like that. I do appreciate Flea as a bass player, and you know I like the band, but I never seen them live.
I watched a video of Flea teaching Coco how to play the gorilla.
The gorilla.
Play bass. That was awesome.
Yeah.
That was adorable.
Flea was. You guys ever seen the Wild Thornberries?
Yes,
Yeah.
he played
he was the little friggin'.
What's his name? Oh, what's his
forgot.
name?
He played the little kid.
The little
Yeah,
kid. Yeah, that's Flea.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Yeah, he and Anthony Kiedis were both in the movie Point Break, the original, and they both have had other like little roles
Back
here
to
and
the
there.
Future.
But
Flea was the truck driver at the very end doing the drag race.
Yeah.
oh really?
Yeah.
He was also in
yeah.
Fear and Loathing in Las Vegas.
Was it?
Yeah, he was in the.
Fucking knew that was
Yeah,
him.
yeah, that's
I knew
him.
it. Oh,
You got the acid all over your shirt.
what's the trouble?
I think he might have in it's a Pauly Shore movie. He was I think it was him. He might have been the tattoo artist in I can't remember that Pauly Shore movie.
He was in the Big Lebowski. He was
Is
one
it,
of the Devo guys.
Encino Man?
No.
No. Son-in-law?
No, yes.
Son-in-law.
Yes. I think he was the tattoo artist.
Yeah.
You pick it, we stick it. That was just his little role in that
Yeah.
one. He's been in a lot. If you
Yeah,
think
he was in
about
Big
it.
Lebowski, the Coen Brothers film.
Yeah, I know which movie you're talking about.
Yeah,
There's a
it
guy
was-
who works in my complex that looks
Great
like,
movie,
like
dude.
the dude.
The dude, yeah.
Seriously.
Dudeism.
Cody has some dudisms going on in his life.
Yeah.
He's not here for me to say it, but if he was here and when I see him again, I'm gonna be like, dude.
Does he drink
You're
White
the dude.
Russians?
You know, I don't think so. I think he actually takes it, straight up.
It's a fantastic drink.
It is.
White
Yes.
Russian?
White Russian.
Oh fuck yeah, that's my drink. if I make
But-
if I go to the bar, yeah.
Well, let's see. Other songs, Breaking Girl and If You Have to Ask, those were other songs off the record that did well. The album itself, all the songs kind of roll in a fluent way, so you can listen to the whole album comfortably. Overall, though, good album, good band.
Hell
But
yeah.
that's about all I got, guys. Sorry, I couldn't give you any more.
Oh,
the only way
perfect.
I've listened to this band, I like to come into Pure Finds with a Pure Find. Couldn't do it today, unfortunately.
Yeah.
But this album I did have. Back in the '90s, we would record CDs on a tape. You know what I mean?
Oh,
So
yeah.
like you press record and you put the blank
Yeah.
tape in, and then you just get the album off that. And that's how I did it then. And yeah, little fun fact for you kids that don't know dick about that stuff. So.
About tapes.
Yeah,
What's a tape?
yeah, around those times, '90s.
Chris
You
has
ever
got some
heard,
facts.
You ever heard Around the World by the Chili Peppers?
Oh God, yes.
Yeah.
Ding dang dong dong ding.
Yeah. I was gonna say I just love the bass at the beginning.
Yeah, man. I mean, they got a lot of great stuff. After this album, they really just got better and better. I feel like after this album was really good. Had a lot of funk in it,
Yeah.
and a lot of like upbeats. But like as they progress later on, and I mean the videos too. I mean, we were privileged to live in an era where music videos, as much
Were
as they were,
appreciated.
they were appreciated.
It was prime.
Yeah, it was the prime, and we
It
lived
was
in
the
the prime.
of the music video.
It doesn't feel like
In
it
the
lasted
end,
very long.
I feel like
It
the music died around like 2000.
I'd say 20.
Ish.
Around
Damn you,
20
Carson Daly.
around 2010, I think. It was like 2010. It's like music is now a commodity.
Yeah.
There's still music videos out.
Oh yeah. There's still music
Except
videos.
We have Vivo.
There's
now.
there's still
So-
artists. There's still all that. But I'm saying it's like, it's mostly EDM or club music, and it's not everybody can get down on it. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? Like,
And well, it's,
Down on it.
I can get down on that. Down on it, baby.
I'll tell you, man. Music. It seems like this is a this is a reoccurring discussion, conversation. We talk about it in reflection as musicians here at Pure Finds.
Yeah.
We tend to think that music's kind of not the way it should be, and it's kind of like we want to see something more. So like if there's something more,
I like a little more to come with the artist.
Yeah.
That's it. It's just like I want to be able to like your song and like you.
Yeah, exactly.
That's all.
It's about appreciating music and not just pressing buttons and making
Yeah,
beep boop doop boop.
It's rude. I think it's rude to charge people to go out to a club, pay to get in, and to watch a laptop.
Yeah.
I think it's very rude. I
In some ways, I guess it could be fun too, but if
get
you're
it
not
if you're
really
at-
going there for the music,
I get
you
it. It's
know.
like weddings, events. It's like sure, have a DJ because there's got to be something going on.
Yeah.
But it's like if you're going out to see a show where it's like people are playing music, this is to promote the bands that want to be something.
People just don't appreciate it like it used to be appreciated.
Music is evolving and will constantly be evolving, but
Yeah.
we are stuck in a genre that's kind of fading away. Now, don't get me wrong, rock and roll is still a big thing, but how much rock and roll has evolved from what it used to be
Yeah.
is kind of the era in which we are stuck in still. We are much more of the musician type to play and perform and create something
Yeah.
with, with an older fashioned mindset compared to
Yeah.
the newer things. But music's always going to evolve, and it's going to continue to evolve. And I don't think the whole EDM thing's going to be going away anytime soon or anything.
Yeah.
Not that I
But-
have anything against it.
Yeah.
It's just that we're all kind of raised in the mindset in the sense of, older style music. And that's kind of our roots as performers as well.
It's just
It's what we
just
look
real.
for. We look to be re-inspired by what inspired us.
I guess what I'm getting at is the heart that like the feel, the emotion in music is kind of dying out a little bit. You can belt out, you can have Adele belt out "Hello from the blah blah blah." It doesn't. But that
It's
doesn't.
the other side.
Yeah, whatever.
Yeah.
But the thing is like just because she's singing about breaking somebody's heart or whatever, and like and telling them that she's sorry, I don't feel it. Like it doesn't. It's the way that person is either she sucks at writing or she has a bunch of like other people who. And I'm not trying to go at Adele personally.
Yeah, I was about to
Don't
say,
mean
she's
it's
all right.
just an
She has a
example of.
phenomenal voice.
She
Yeah.
does. And there are a lot of female artists that do, and I'm not knocking the people with voices. That's not what I'm saying. I'm just saying like the heart in music.
Yeah.
Even some of the writing styles, people writing for other people don't know what they're doing, and yet they have jobs doing it. And I'm not hating. I'm just saying it's just like I feel like the appreciation and the heart for music has kind of been going downwards.
I mean, when
it
there's
doesn't matter the genre necessarily.
Yeah, to me, it's a difference like songs that belong on the charts and songs that belong in the clubs. It's like, I don't think club music should be accountable to charts, but then again, it's like it's just my opinion.
Yeah, it turns out. Yeah,
That's all. It's all music.
Yeah.
It's all music. It's all fun. It's like it has its place.
Sure.
But I don't know. It's like some of us just I guess look for deeper than you a stupid hoe. You a stupid
Let's
hoe.
listen to folk music.
Yeah, folk music is a great.
That's deep.
If
as
you
it is.
if you go out into West Virginia, I just went to Harper's Ferry not long ago, and I was rocking some John Denver and some Jim Croce, just walking down the trails and shit. It was nice. It was so fucking nice and relaxing. Oh my god, the river's over there, dude. The
Yeah.
water is so beautiful. And it's pretty damn clear. I thought it would be a whole lot scarier in West Virginia. Because we live in real Virginia. They live in West Virginia. I was,
You got a per mile.
I was keeping an ear out.
got
I
a
was keeping
bird
an ear
now.
out. Yeah, but for music, like the heart of it, that's definitely something that a lot of people look for. And EDM, it's not going away. But luckily, I feel like we might be going into the platinum age. This is the big Chris wrap-up speech, I suppose. I feel like we're just on the verge of the platinum age of music. Because now it's the age of the self-starter. Thanks to the internet, helpful websites, files, instead of having to deal with reels and stuff for audio.
Oh.
It's never ever been easier to get yourself out, record your own music. You have all the control. What we need with that, hopefully, maybe one day the labels will change their minds, or they'll just keep going with trying to create the next human into a money-making machine, trying to create a Clockwork Orange. It can't. It won't ever work. It won't ever work right. Sure, it'll get money in your pockets, but guess what? People will forget about it next week. Thank you for listening. This is Pure Finds. I'm Chris Morrison.
I'm Ian.
I'm Kyle.
And that's a wrap. Please listen to this awesome outro music and have a great week.